Capricorn, the universe has been sending you messages, quiet, subtle, and often easy to miss. These are not coincidences, and they are not random. Every encounter, every pattern, every sudden intuition, and every strange occurrence is a sign, and if you continue to ignore them, you may remain blind to the shifts that are quietly reshaping your life. Before you continue, pause and engage with this channel. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because what I'm about to reveal is not something most Capricorns recognize, and it may very well change the way you move through the next chapter of your life. From the moment you wake, subtle signs are at work. A call that doesn't come, an email that is delayed, a person who leaves your life as suddenly as they arrived. All these are markers of a hidden pattern designed to guide you. Your natural Capricorn energy makes you focused on strategy, control, and tangible results, which can blind you to the quiet language of the universe. You may be ambitious, driven, and relentless, but even the strongest mountain climber must notice the cracks in the cliff face before taking the next step. J.K. Rowling experienced this in the most literal sense. She faced repeated rejections, setbacks, and poverty, yet there were subtle signs guiding her, opportunities that seemed minor at the time, coincidences that appeared insignificant, but ultimately aligned with her destiny as one of the most successful authors in history. Joseph's story in the Bible mirrors this principle in the most profound way. Imprisoned for circumstances he did not control, facing betrayal from those closest to him, he could have seen his life as a series of misfortunes. Yet he learned to read the signs, dreams, coincidences, and opportunities that appeared in unlikely forms. Each one prepared him for a destiny far beyond his imagination. Capricorns, you are standing in a modern Joseph moment. The hidden signs are all around you, quietly shaping the path that only you can walk, yet too often they go unnoticed because they are subtle, because you are focused on what seems urgent, what seems visible, rather than what is orchestrated behind the curtain of your life. The first sign you must notice is repetition. Life has a way of teaching through patterns. People, situations, or challenges appear not once, but repeatedly until the lesson is internalized. Perhaps it is the same type of person who enters your life, offering guidance, testing your trust, or challenging your boundaries. Perhaps it is a recurring professional challenge, a repeated financial obstacle, or the same emotional dynamic that refuses to resolve itself. King David faced repeated betrayals and conflicts before becoming the leader Israel needed. Each repetition was a test of discernment, patience, and resilience. Your repeated patterns are doing the same thing. They are not obstacles meant to block you. They are warnings, nudges, and preparatory steps in disguise. The second sign is intuition. You have felt it before, the sudden pull, the whisper of a decision that seems inexplicable, the gut feeling that warns you to pause or act. Capricorns are thinkers, analyzers, planners. Your mind often wants to rationalize, to measure, to calculate. Yet intuition bypasses the logic and speaks directly to the soul. Nikola Tesla's visions, his sudden bursts of clarity that seemed impossible, guided some of the most groundbreaking inventions in human history. Tesla trusted the unseen language of his intuition, the flashes of insight that most would have dismissed as fantasy. You, Capricorn, are receiving similar messages. Every impulse, every sudden thought that feels out of place is a sign you cannot afford to ignore. The third hidden sign comes from your environment, the spaces you inhabit, and the energy that lingers in the places you frequent. Perhaps your home feels heavier than usual, or your workspace seems charged with tension that no one else can sense. Steve Jobs understood the importance of environment intuitively. He curated spaces to maximize creativity, focus, and innovation. The energy around you is not accidental. It mirrors, reflects, and tests the alignment of your own energy. The universe is challenging you to perceive, adapt, and act with awareness in subtle ways. This is where many Capricorns falter, thinking only in terms of tasks and outcomes, while missing the quiet cues that dictate timing, strategy, and alignment. Even small delays are part of the hidden messages. A project postponed, a conversation delayed, a call that never comes. These are not annoyances but markers. Joseph's years in prison were filled with such delays, yet every pause was purposeful, every setback a preparation for a moment that would change not just his life, but the fate of nations. Your own life contains these same calculated pauses, Capricorn, designed to ensure that when your moment arrives, you are ready to act decisively, fully aware, and perfectly aligned with the opportunity. Look closely at relationships. Those who enter and exit your life seemingly at random are not random. Every person carries a message, a test, or a lesson. Some bring clarity, some bring opportunity, and some come to teach you discernment by leaving. Oprah Winfrey's journey was filled with people who tested her limits, challenged her, and guided her toward purpose in ways she only realized in hindsight. Capricorns, your interactions now are laden with subtle significance, shaping your awareness, teaching you resilience, and refining your ability to perceive truth amidst illusion. Financial or professional disturbances are also signs. Sudden unexpected expenses, stalled opportunities, or sudden windfalls are the universe's way of testing your perception, patience, and insight. J.K. Rowling's early financial struggles were not setbacks, they were rehearsals in resilience, teaching her discernment, preparation, and faith. Your own economic shifts, Capricorn, may feel inconvenient or unfair, but they are deliberate. They are whispering lessons of timing, discernment, and trust, preparing you for opportunities that cannot be hurried or forced. Your emotional landscape is another messenger. Capricorns tend to carry burdens silently, to measure, calculate, and endure in ways that others do not. Yet your emotions are a subtle barometer, signaling when you are aligned and when you are not. Marie Curie's life was marked by relentless challenges, personal loss, and societal obstacles, yet she learned to read her own emotional and spiritual signals, harnessing them to fuel discovery and greatness. Your own internal states are guiding you now, teaching patience, intuition, and the critical skill of discernment in times of uncertainty. Dreams and fleeting thoughts often carry hidden messages. Abraham in the Bible obeyed divine guidance, leaving his homeland based on subtle signs that seemed irrational at the time. Those moments of clarity, the visions that appear without explanation, are messages not to be dismissed. They are a language of the universe, speaking directly to your higher self, and they demand attention. Capricorns, these are not idle moments. They are preparation, guidance, and insight that will reveal themselves in ways you will recognize only when timing converges with readiness. Even minor frustrations, traffic delays, miscommunications, misplaced items are all markers. Alexander the Great used seemingly insignificant events as omens, reading the subtle shifts of the world around him to guide strategic decisions. Your own small disruptions are part of a tapestry, Capricorn, designed to sharpen awareness, test patience, and prepare you for alignment with opportunity and destiny. Hidden signs repeat for a reason. Patterns will appear until they are understood. Abraham Lincoln faced repeated political failures and losses, each one teaching lessons that would prepare him to lead a nation. The universe is testing your ability to notice, to adapt, and to internalize the lessons of repetition. Your repeated challenges are not failures, they are teaching moments in disguise, building the resilience, insight, and discernment necessary for your next stage of life. Your health and energy levels are also part of the messaging. A sudden dip in energy, unusual aches, or unexplained fatigue are signals. They demand awareness of alignment between body, mind, and spirit. Historical leaders and visionaries, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Nikola Tesla, attuned themselves to subtle cues in their bodies and minds to guide strategy and action. Your physical and mental state is equally a messenger, Capricorn, calling you to awareness and alignment. Every coincidence, every pattern, every fleeting intuition, every subtle environmental cue is a thread in a larger tapestry. The universe is quietly orchestrating circumstances, preparing you for moments that require clarity, discernment, and courage. Joseph, David, Lincoln, Tesla, Rowling, Oprah, all these lives demonstrate a principle that applies to you now. The hidden, quiet signs of life are never random, and those who fail to notice them often miss their destiny. Pay attention to strangers, fleeting interactions, and unplanned encounters. Moses' encounters in the wilderness were brief, often overlooked, but each carried a message or preparation for what was to come. Your life now contains similar moments, Capricorn, seemingly minor but prophetically significant. Each one shapes perception, sharpens awareness, and prepares you for decisions that will define the trajectory of your future. Even external challenges, circumstances you cannot control, are designed to test your response. Are you reactive, impulsive, or patient and strategic? Steve Jobs faced ceaseless external pressures, yet his ability to act decisively and strategically under tension defined his legacy. Your own challenges, Capricorn, are similarly crafted, shaping your capacity for mastery, composure, and insight in the face of unseen forces. Warnings and nudges will appear in subtle forms. A fleeting pause in thought, hesitation in action, or repeated inner warning is prophetic. Abraham's obedience to divine guidance often prevented paths that could have led to ruin. Your hesitation, intuition, or pause is your safeguard. Ignore it, and the path becomes obscured. Heed it, and the way forward becomes clear. Financial patterns are deliberate. Money may appear inconsistent or uncertain, yet each shift tests judgment, patience, and strategic timing. J.K. Rowling's early unpredictability in income sharpened her ability to act decisively. Your own economic signals are messages, Capricorn, preparing you for decisions that require foresight and readiness. Your thoughts, emotions, and mental states are mirrors of hidden signs. Nikola Tesla, Joseph, and Abraham all received guidance in moments of sudden insight, thought, or reflection. Capricorns, your fleeting thoughts are often prophetic, guiding decisions that, if ignored, leave opportunity untapped. Awareness and discernment now are critical. Even the mundane matters, traffic delays, minor inconveniences, or daily interruptions carry significance. The universe tests your patience, focus, and adaptability through these small events. Alexander the Great interpreted minor occurrences as strategic signals. Your awareness, Capricorn, is the key to reading these subtle cues accurately. Your energy, composure, and focus are continuously assessed. The universe observes your response to pressure, frustration, and unpredictability. King David's exiles and trials shaped discernment and leadership. Your challenges now are similarly designed to strengthen perception, strategic thinking, and readiness. Hidden signs repeat until lessons are integrated. Abraham Lincoln's repeated losses prepared him for unprecedented leadership. You too must absorb repeated patterns to recognize timing, strategy, and opportunity. Capricorn, the universe is shaping mastery, not trial and error. Even celebrities demonstrate these hidden signs. Taylor Swift notices recurring patterns, guiding creativity and personal decisions. LeBron James observes subtle team dynamics before acting decisively. Your life now mirrors this principle. Awareness and response to hidden signs dictate success. Your environment, health, finances, thoughts, emotions, and social interactions are all delivering messages. Each subtle shift prepares you for decisive, aligned action. Historical, biblical, and modern examples demonstrate the critical nature of observing hidden signs. Your awareness is being sharpened, Capricorn, for a pivotal moment that may soon arrive. Every coincidence, repeated pattern, intuitive pull, or environmental cue is orchestrated. The universe tests your patience, discernment, and readiness. Those who notice these signs step into transformation. Those who ignore them may remain blind. Every step, interaction, and thought now carries significance in the unfolding of your destiny. The quiet, prophetic nudges you have ignored are growing in intensity. Your repeated patterns, subtle intuitions, environmental awareness, and mental and physical states are aligning to form a map of your next steps. The universe has been quietly, deliberately, and prophetically sending messages, Capricorn. What you have overlooked cannot remain unnoticed forever. Timing, opportunity, and destiny converge when readiness aligns with awareness. Your preparation, resilience, and observation are being tested, refined, and measured. Every hidden sign is a thread, and together they weave the pattern of your life's next chapter. Capricorn, the universe is calling, and it has been calling quietly for months. Subtle signs, hidden patterns, fleeting intuitions, environmental cues, financial fluctuations, and repeated lessons all point to one truth. Your attention to these messages now determines whether you rise into alignment or remain unaware of what is being orchestrated for you. Every encounter, every event, every intuitive nudge, and every coincidence is meaningful. Joseph, David, Lincoln, Tesla, Rowling, Oprah all demonstrate the principle: hidden signs are never random. The question is whether you will recognize them, whether you will act, and whether you will align with the opportunity quietly unfolding around you. The universe is watching your readiness, Capricorn. Every test, subtle sign, and repeated pattern is shaping your awareness, your intuition, and your capacity to step decisively into the life you have been unknowingly preparing for. The hidden messages are intensifying, patterns are aligning, and a threshold is approaching that will demand clarity, courage, and awareness. Your life is a tapestry of these hidden signs, Capricorn. Timing, intuition, repetition, environmental awareness, and emotional insight converge into a sequence that can no longer be ignored. Every moment, every subtle cue, and every intuitive whisper is a preparation, a test, and a guide. This is the reality you must awaken to now. The patterns, the nudges, the coincidences, and the quiet warnings are all converging. The universe is ready to reveal what has been prepared for you. Those who see, act, and align will step into a life of clarity, purpose, and opportunity beyond what they imagined. Those who ignore will remain blind to the magnitude of what is unfolding. Capricorn, the hidden signs are everywhere. They have been waiting quietly for your recognition. And now, the moment is approaching when your awareness, discernment, and readiness will be tested like never before. Every pattern, every intuition, every subtle cue matters, and what you do with these messages will determine the scale of your destiny. Capricorn, by the time you arrive at this final part of your journey, something inside you has already shifted so deeply that you can feel the change in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the way your spirit responds to life. You may not have said it out loud, but you know this truth is real. You are no longer the version of yourself who could ignore signs, suppress intuition, or tolerate cycles that drained you. Something has awakened in you that refuses to go back to sleep. Something ancient. Something prophetic, something that feels like your soul remembering its own story. And now, every step you take feels tied to a greater purpose, even if you cannot fully name that purpose yet. There is a weight in the air around you, not a burden, but a significance, like the universe is rearranging the atmosphere so you can finally step into what was always meant to find you. There comes a time in every Capricorn's life when clarity hits with the force of destiny. At first, it feels like a quiet knowing, a thought that whispers instead of shouts, but then it grows, it multiplies, it intensifies, and suddenly you find yourself seeing through situations, through people, through intentions, as if your inner eye has been polished to a mirror shine. You begin to understand why you felt tension with certain people even though nothing was said. You begin to understand why your spirit resisted certain invitations, certain jobs, certain connections. You begin to understand why your soul felt restless in places that looked comfortable from the outside. This is the moment when the truth rises with such clarity that you cannot pretend not to see it anymore. You are evolving, you are outgrowing, you are shedding, you are transforming, and every part of your being knows it. There's a strange intensity moving through your life now, the kind of intensity that makes ordinary moments feel symbolic, like everything is coded with deeper meaning. You'll be sitting somewhere quietly when a memory you haven't thought about in years suddenly returns. You'll hear a word, a phrase, a story, and it hits you differently, like it wasn't meant for the general world, but for you specifically. This is the spiritual intelligence of the universe aligning your awareness with your future. Think of the biblical Samuel, how he heard a voice calling him in the night while others slept. Think of Harriet Tubman, guided by visions others dismissed, but which led her through darkness to freedom again and again. Think of Joan of Arc, receiving divine impulses she couldn't explain but could not deny. Capricorn, you're in that realm now, not the realm of hallucination, but the realm of heightened intuition, where the lines between instinct, foresight, and destiny blur until they become one. What makes this moment so powerful is not that something external is changing, though it is, but that something internal has already shifted. You've begun listening to the signals you once ignored. You've begun acknowledging the discomfort you once brushed aside. You've begun honoring the voice that always told the truth, long before your mind caught up. Capricorn, this is not just growth. This is spiritual recalibration. This is your life lining itself up with the timeline you were always supposed to walk. You can feel it in the intensity of your emotions, in the sharpness of your focus, in the sudden courage that rises within you when you think about things that used to terrify you. Something in you knows the breakthrough isn't coming. It's already happening, quietly, powerfully, inevitably. And with this awakening comes something else, something heavier, something deeper, something ancient, a sense of responsibility, not responsibility in the usual Capricorn way, not the pressure to work hard, to carry others, to sacrifice yourself for stability. No, this responsibility is internal, spiritual, personal. It's the responsibility to honor your truth, to protect your energy, to walk away from what does not honor your purpose, to stop apologizing for your intuition, to stop shrinking your power so that others feel comfortable. This is a different kind of responsibility, the kind that forces you to choose yourself even when your old self would have chosen everyone else. This is the moment where your loyalty shifts from loyalty to others to loyalty to your destiny. But to get here, the universe had to shake you. It had to break patterns you wouldn't break on your own. It had to expose motives you wouldn't have seen otherwise. It had to remove people who held access to you without deserving it. It had to show you how deeply you suppressed your own needs. It had to strip away illusions with the precision of a surgeon. Capricorn, everything you lost was orchestrated. Everything that fell apart was intentional. Everything that collapsed was part of the cleansing. Think of the phoenix. Think of the burning forest that makes space for new growth. Think of the prophets who had to lose everything before gaining clarity. Your losses weren't endings, they were realignments. And now you find yourself in the most powerful place a Capricorn can stand, the place between who you were and who you're becoming, that doorway, that threshold, that sacred in-between. And it's in that space that the third hidden sign becomes impossible to ignore, the sign that your old limitations can no longer hold you. Capricorn, you've reached the point where small thinking physically pains you, where self-betrayal makes you feel spiritually sick, where settling feels like suffocation, where staying silent in the face of truth feels unbearable. It's not that you want more in a material sense, it's that your soul refuses anything less than alignment. This is why your desires have been changing, why your dreams have been shifting, why your goals feel different. This is not confusion, this is evolution. This is your spirit updating itself. You're no longer driven by survival, by fear, by obligation. You're driven by purpose, by clarity, by resonance. You're beginning to realize that the things you thought were too big for you were never too big. They were waiting for you to grow into them. And now you are. You're also noticing something else. Your boundaries are stronger, not because you're defensive, but because you finally understand your worth. You're no longer giving explanations for your distance. You're no longer overworking for people who give you the bare minimum. You're no longer forcing connections that feel one-sided. You're no longer bending to accommodate those who refuse to grow. You've learned that protecting your energy is not selfish, it's sacred. And now, the universe is honoring that shift by bringing you alignment that matches it. Capricorn, the reason this season feels prophetic is because it is. You're standing in the same energetic corridor that great leaders, innovators, prophets, and revolutionaries stood in before their lives transformed. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., sensing his destiny even while danger surrounded him. Think of Ruth in the Bible, stepping into an unknown path, guided only by instinct and faith. Think of Steve Jobs, returning to Apple at the exact moment the world doubted him, only to rebuild an empire. Think of Nelson Mandela, holding clarity while the world tried to silence him. What you're feeling isn't random, it's destiny folding itself around you. And now the signs are accelerating, the synchronicities are multiplying, the strange dreams, the sudden downloads of intuition, the people who appear at the exact moment you need them, the opportunities that didn't exist months ago, the shifts happening behind your back in your favor without your knowledge. These aren't accidents, these are alignments, these are confirmations, these are spiritual breadcrumbs guiding you toward a life that matches your frequency. Yet with all of this clarity, all of this energy, all of this transformation, there is still one more layer you've begun to feel, something subtle, something mysterious, something you can't quite name. It's the feeling that something big is approaching, something important, something life-altering. You can sense it in your chest. You can sense it in the way people treat you differently. You can sense it in the way opportunities linger near your energy. You can sense it in the way your intuition refuses to quiet down. You can sense it in the way your spirit is preparing you, not gently, but urgently. Capricorn, you have entered the season where nothing in your life will remain the same, but not because of chaos, because of elevation, because your spirit is demanding alignment, because your destiny is calling loudly, because the universe is orchestrating a shift that will redefine your story. You can feel the magnitude of it even without knowing the details. It's the same sensation prophets felt before revelation. The same sensation visionaries felt before breakthrough. The same sensation warriors felt before victory. There is a moment in every great story when the main character senses what the audience cannot see, when their heart registers the coming of change before the world catches up. You're living that moment now. And even though you don't have the full picture, you can feel the edges of something extraordinary forming around your life. Something that will challenge you, transform you, elevate you, something that carries the weight of destiny. Capricorn, you've reached the part of your journey where the universe is no longer whispering. It's speaking through signs, through intuition, through synchronicities, through disruptions that redirect you, through opportunities that stretch you, through clarity that shakes you, and everything in your life is aligning with a single truth. You were never meant to live an ordinary life. Your path has always been marked. Your spirit has always been different. Your destiny has always been larger. And now, as your intuition sharpens, as your energy rises, as your awareness expands, you can feel something forming, something pulling you toward your next chapter with the quiet force of gravity. Something that feels like prophecy. Something that feels like fate. Something that feels like the moment before a long-awaited revelation finally arrives. And Capricorn, it's coming closer than you think.